Good evening, everyone. A major winter storm continues to bear down not on just central PA, but much of the East Coast, the entire Mid-Atlantic, and basically all of the Northeast. A very extensive system moving in. Now, right now, things are pretty quiet. As of 6, 7 o'clock this evening, you start to see some snow showers across the central Appalachians there into the Ohio and Mississippi valleys. So this entire mess is headed our direction. You see the freezing rain in purple and the sleet, the wintry mix from central portions of Texas all the way up into the mid-Mississippi Valley and mid-Ohio Valley. On the northern side, that's where it's obviously cold enough to just see snow. And for us, this event is mainly going to be a snow event. So this is the winter storm warning that goes into effect tonight and runs all the way through Monday morning. We're looking at impacts through Monday morning because, again, we're going to be dealing with the blowing and drifting snow potentially. But yeah, everyone in pink, not just us, but eastern Pennsylvania, New Jersey, all of Delmarva and Maryland. And look at how extensive this winter storm is. I mean, we have continuous winter storm warnings in pink from basically down East Maine all the way to eastern portions of New Mexico. I can't remember a time where I've seen winter storm warnings that extensive, and even winter alerts going all the way as far west as Arizona, believe it or not. So back here at home, I have our Futurecast overlaid with temperatures, because the temperatures through this event are going to be exceptionally cold. Normally when it starts snowing, or normally when it snows around here, temperatures are anywhere between 25 and 30 degrees. But this event, we're going to be seeing temperatures in the low to mid-teens through much of the time the snow is falling. So this is 11 o'clock midnight tonight. Notice the snow showers off to our southwest. I think this could actually be in here a little bit sooner than that. Regardless, after 2 a.m., everybody is snowing. And look at these temperatures. Again, very cold, low to mid-teens. The snow, at least at first, is going to be the very dry, fluffy snow. It's going to accumulate quick, and it's going to stick to the roads right away. So roads are going to be real slick tomorrow morning. Church services, many of those places are already closing. No surprise, because this is going to be pretty high impact as we go through tomorrow morning. And then as we head through the afternoon, we are still cold. We are still in the teens, still actively snowing over much of central PA. But you see this line right here, that pink area? That is sleet. All right, it's hard to believe that we're going to be dealing with a wintry mix when temperatures at the surface are this cold. But 7,000 to 10,000 feet above our heads, temperatures are actually going to be warming into the low 40s. So high in the atmosphere, we're going to see temperatures actually climb above freezing, even into the low 40s. So that's going to cause the snowflakes to melt. And then as it falls back into the freezing air closer to the earth, it refreezes and turns into sleet. And sleet can really make snowpack very heavy. So as the snow is falling tomorrow morning, I recommend shoveling as much as possible so you have less weight to shovel in the afternoon and evening, especially if there's some sleet that actually mixes in here. And I expect the best chance for the sleet along and south of the Turnpike. So Lancaster and York will likely deal with lesser snowfall amounts because of the sleet. And then further northwest of 81 is where I'm expecting higher snowfall amounts through the storm. So that sleet line is still somewhat uncertain on exactly how far north it goes. It's definitely a wild card and definitely will have an impact on some of our snow amounts. But as we head into Monday, the snow's gone, but we're cold, we're windy. Any of the light fluffy snow is going to be blowing and drifting around very easily. So these are the high impacts, all right? Heavy snow, obviously, that's going to be the biggest issue. Some sleet, especially along and south of the Turnpike, that's going to make the snow crusty and heavy, especially to shovel. And then freezing rain, very limited threat with that. Fortunately, that's the worst kind of wintry precipitation. And then on Monday, we're going to get into the blowing and drifting. So that's going to be more of the issue Monday morning and Monday afternoon. So here's the big picture in terms of the timing. By 11 o'clock, I think we could already be seeing some snow showers across the area. But notice as we head through pre-dawn tomorrow, it's snowing heavily. This is when we're expecting the heavy amounts from the morning into the early afternoon. And then I think early afternoon into the evening is when we start to see some locations, especially the southern portion of the viewing area, mix with sleet. And that's why I have our snowfall amounts a little bit less the further south you are. So 12 to 16, very likely along and northwest of 81. And if we get that sleet line to move a little bit further north, most likely we'd see the lower end of that range verify. So remember, 12 to 16 inches of snow doesn't mean you're guaranteed 16 inches of snow. It guarantees, or what we find most probable to be somewhere in that 12 to 16 range. Where I expect a better chance for sleet, 10 to 12 inches, along and south of the Turnpike, especially south of 30. And then as you get into Maryland, I think 8 to 10 inch amounts are going to be more common. But if that sleet fails to reach the Mason-Dixon line, we'd be looking at slightly higher amount. So as is always the case with winter storms around here, there's always usually a wild card in there that can either make or break totals. But that map right there is what we think is most likely. So check out how much the cold sticks around. So we've got that winter storm threat Sunday into Monday. I mean, we don't even hit 30 until the earliest next week. And there's also another potential winter storm threat during this time frame as well as we head into early, so this would be Sunday, Monday of next weekend. There's some signs we could be dealing with another system moving through. So that's just the high temperatures. All right, look at our low temperatures as we go through the work week. I think we're looking at single digits, some spots even as low as 0 actual temperature, wind chills. Some of those mornings I think could be 10 to 20 below 0. So the next big story after the winter storm is definitely going to be the bitter cold. And of course tomorrow, because of the snow, we've got that weather warn day just to alert you to stay off the roads, take it easy, and make sure that you have everything you need. You still have time tonight to go out and get any supplies, because remember, whatever you can do tonight that you could avoid doing tomorrow, that would be the best plan of action. So we're going to bring in TJ. He has a few questions that, of course, some of you may have, and we'll leave this snow accumulation map up because I know this is kind of the bottom line, what everyone wants to see. How much snow am I going to get? Well, there it is. Find your county, and wherever you are in that county, you can look at what range you're in. Definitely a healthy snowfall.
Oh yeah, a lot of snowfall we're talking about. But what's really interesting about this are the cold temperatures that are expected ahead, which you mentioned too. So a big question a lot of people are wondering are when are the roadways going to be better, especially with a lot of these temperatures being below freezing for even days after this winter storm rolls through our area?
Yeah, so I'll actually go back here because I like that question. And again, during the event, you see these are our temperatures. We're stuck in the teens. Most of the time when it's snowing around here, at least in central PA, temperatures are in the 25 to 30 degree range. And those temperatures, along with road treatment, the chemicals they put on the road, actually works well to keep the roads clear. But since temperatures are going to be below 17 degrees, that's when a lot of the road treatment has trouble. I think the only way road crews are going to be able to keep the roads clear of snow is by physically removing it as opposed to using some of the road treatment. So as soon as we get snow-covered roads, which is going to happen overnight, I think by 4 or 5 o'clock, most of the region is snow-covered. We're looking at slick road conditions all through tomorrow morning, all through tomorrow afternoon. And remember, as people drive over snow on the roads, the snow gets compact, and that compact snow eventually turns into ice. So the roads at no point tomorrow are going to be really good to be on.
Wow, yeah, and then with this system, we know it's so widespread. I mean, it's stretching all the way from the West Coast up to Maine. It's bringing a lot of different kind of substances with it, from freezing rain, snow, sleet even. What would you say is the biggest threat to our area, and which region of central Pennsylvania will receive that biggest threat?
Okay, so I think it's really, I think the biggest threat's pretty equal all around. Let me go back to the snowfall map here. So obviously this is a very heavy snowfall. You know, we're dealing with many areas getting over a foot. So areas that don't get sleet are going to probably be closer to 15, 16 inches. Areas that do get sleet are probably going to be close to 10 inches, maybe even less than that. So even though this area is getting more snow, the weight of the snow caused by the sleet is going to cause problems in and of itself, because that sleet's going to compact the snow. The sleet is dense. It has a lot of weight to it. So anytime you're putting sleet into a snowpack, it makes it extremely heavy and difficult to shovel. The snow up here, where I'm not expecting any sleet, is going to be much easier to shovel. And when you have sleet in a snowpack, it's even harder for some snow blowers to work. So even though we may be getting less snow down here, it's going to be a much heavier snowpack due to the sleet. So it's not like this area is going to fare better. In fact, I think they might fare off worse due to the sleet causing that increased weight in the snow.
Wow, yeah, no, a lot to look ahead to with this. Also, with the amount of stuff that we can expect with this system, what time do you think the threats will hit its peak?
Good question. So really, tomorrow, we'll go back to the timeline here. So really overnight into, I think pre-dawn through noontime, we're going to see some of the worst snowfall rates. We're talking about up to 2 inches an hour. Basically, that means you get 2 inches of snow in 1 hour. In 2 hours, if those rates continue, you get 4 inches of snow. In 3 hours, you have half a foot of snow on the ground. And snow falling at that rate, it's hard for road crews to keep up. And that's why another reason, we urge you to stay off the roads is because, obviously driving in snow and ice and winter weather is difficult, but it's also to stay out of the way of road crews who are trying to keep things as clear as possible. If there's less cars on the road, the better. And I'm not gonna judge anyone who has to go out. People have their reasons.
We have to come to work even.
We have to come to work, we have to convey all of this information. There's people that absolutely must go out in addition to road crews. And you don't know their story. You don't know why they have to go out, but if you can, if there's something you can do tonight that you were planning on doing tomorrow, which is as easy as going to the store to get something, do it tonight.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
Play it safe.
Yeah, and in which area do you think will receive that peak of the threat too?
So I think as far as highest snowfall totals, definitely northwest of 81. I think the highest sleet potential, where we're going to deal with that heavier, hard to clear snow, is south of the Turnpike, especially south of US 30. I think York and Lancaster right here have the best chance to get more sleet. And that could be maybe a ½ inch of sleet, which is a lot of sleet. And that's really going to weigh things down on whatever snow falls there. But I think everyone gets a healthy 6 to 10 inches before any sleet would move in. So this is a solid plowable snow for much of the region. Really the biggest storm we've seen since February 2021. I think Harrisburg International Airport measured 12.5 inches of snow with that storm. That's entirely possible with this, and even amounts higher than that, depending on where that sleet line sets up, is in the cards.
And then with the system, it's expecting to impact a lot. It's already impacting travel. It's impacting roadways. We just saw a water main break that happened in York County even. So when is all of that going to be out of here? You said it's going to come in at 11 o'clock. When's it going to move out? And when can people get back out on the roadways and kind of move as usual?
So I think we're going to see some improvement into Monday morning, but roads are still going to be secondary roads that are in some cases impassable. Not all roads are obviously going to be cleared at the same time. Really, a lot of these road crews focus on major arteries, especially arteries that connect areas to, say, hospitals, places where people need to go in an emergency. So those roads are going to take precedent to the secondary roads out there. So you may live kind of far out, very rural location, and or even some subdivisions may not get plowed until later in the day because those main roads need to remain clear, especially for any emergencies that occur. So these ambulances and whatnot can get to the hospital or get to places or people that need that kind of help. So just, look at how widespread this is.
Absolutely unbelievable.
Yeah,
Just
from
to
New
see
Mexico all the
this.
way up to New England. It's a very wide-reaching storm, and you basically have all this moisture that's being thrown into this Arctic air mass. And
then even this right here, isn't this just like a signal of ice that's going to be in that area?
So this purple area here, that's significant icing. And the big problem with the ice is that's where we're going to see this most significant threat for power outages. And, okay, you have an ice storm that comes through, your power goes out. You have a windstorm, your power goes out, it's restored the next day. It takes crews a long time to repair power if it goes out, if we have widespread impacts due to weather. And the unfortunate thing with this is once the power goes out, we're not warming up. Down here, we're going to be well below normal. And, if people go without power, they're going to be without heat. That is going to become an issue. And that Arctic cold, that we're seeing now, it's going to reload into much of next week. So any power that goes out, we could even see some icing threats as far north as DC and Baltimore. Don't expect that much here, but they're going to be cold as well through a good chunk of next week.
Yeah, because I know the issues arise when, the ice gets on top of those utility poles, gets on top of those wires and stuff. With the snow coming down in central Pennsylvania and it being on top of those utility poles and wires, could that impact power outages here?
Yeah, I don't think we're going to see much of a power outage issue here, fortunately, because the snow is going to be dry and fluffy for the most part, so it's not going to necessarily stick. If it was
Even with those temperatures being so low?
Well, yeah, so that's actually a reason why it wouldn't stick. If it was heavy and wet, and the snow was kind of waterlogged and stuck to everything, that would be an issue. But this is the kind of snow that doesn't really stick to power lines, thankfully. Now the sleet can obviously create some issues there, but the freeze, whenever you get like a wet snow and then you change over to freezing rain, that's when you can really run into some problems. And that risk is going to be further south. So the power outage threat is definitely going to be worse across portions of the southern Appalachians into the southern Mississippi Valley. I mean, they could get a half inch to even an inch of ice, and that's a lot of weight. I mean, water is very heavy, frozen. You know, you ever carry a bucket of ice, you know how heavy it is. So an inch of ice accumulating on power lines and trees adds a lot of stress, and with even just a little wind, they can come down.
Yeah, so hopefully, everyone is staying safe. We're already getting reports of snow falling in those areas down south.
Yep.
As it moves up here, you said 11 o'clock, that's the time you're expecting it to start falling in this area, around that time. Of course, we're going to be on air and online monitoring conditions. Ed, you're going to be on Facebook Live again tonight.
Yeah, I'll be on around 8 with an update, and then, of course, we'll have another update right after the show at 11:35 on Facebook. But, yeah, it's talking about 10 p.m. on the CW and 11 p.m. on CBS 21.
Awesome. And then also, we'll be up bright and early for the morning show, too, starting at 5 a.m. to bring you coverage throughout the day on Sunday, too, as we monitor these conditions. Make sure you go download CBS 21 weather app, also our regular app as well, to stay up to date on anything going on in the area.